What's up, agents? How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are well, being as safe as you need to be out there. So it's finally that time again. Time to go back to the original boom build. Well, the season 7 variation. This build is actually the one that really got me into making videos for the Division 2. In fact, if any of you want to get into the nostalgia, right up there is the very first boom build that I ever did. Obviously, you're not going to use that to make a build now, but it does reflect how much the game has changed, how the equipment has changed, how the talents have changed, and really kind of gives you an idea of how far this game has actually progressed since its inception. But what we're trying to do today is visit the new iteration of the boom build and what will work best for you. And today I want to present you guys with two different versions of the build. One, any of you guys that follow the channel have seen the group variation before. We'll get into that a bit in a moment. But I also wanted to provide a new version of the build that I just started running, which is incredibly powerful for the solo players that want to run with an explosion build. So without further ado, we'll get right on into the build. Thanks for watching, guys. Do me a favor. If you find this information worthwhile, smash that like button. Share it with your friends. That's the best thing you can do to help the channel is share the video. And yeah, I try to bring new content as frequently as possible. And of course, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the build. It's because of your guys' comments that I'm able to improve these builds and that I'm able to come up with new ideas. Most of these, well, I shouldn't say most. A lot of the times it's not my ideas that I came up with, but it's other people who brought ideas, and then I just play with them and tweak them a little bit. So you guys are the reason why this channel is possible. So thank you guys so much. So without further ado, let's get into these builds. All right, so first off, of course, we got to talk about the specialization, what specialization we're going to use. And as you guys know, I pretty much run Technician in almost every one of my skill builds, but this is one of the few times we're going to step away from that, and we're going to go with the Demolitionist. This has quite a few key advantages. Of course, we want it for the explosive ordnance. This will give us up to an additional 10% explosive damage. Since everything we're doing is based around explosives, that's going to get us the most bang for the buck. Also, because of the diminishing returns of skill damage, you're much better off stacking into explosive damage any place that's possible, as that is a separate multiplier to the damage that we'll do. We have to run the Demolitionist if you want the artillery turret, which gives you the mortars. Now, you could run something like the bombardier drone if you want to. That's the way I ran the very first iteration of the build. Unfortunately, they nerfed the shit out of the bombardier drone, and they essentially took it down to the ground. So I don't recommend it, but we do get the artillery turret, and this is one of my favorite skills in the game. It does take a little bit of practice and playing with it to really get to know how to use it effectively. And one thing that some people don't know, the artillery turret, if you double tap the fire button on the turret, it will actually lock it into place. So you could use this to be able to position the turret targeting on one specific area like a doorway and use it as an area denial. So be advised, you can use it that way. Now, another thing we get from it is the brace for impact, and this means you can ignore explosions once every 60 seconds. And the biggest benefit of this is in case you accidentally do something like I do more frequently than I wish I did, where I'll accidentally make my mortar fire on me. So that'll keep me from killing myself. And so it's a benefit that way. Of course, there's other explosions. You guys know there's a lot of things that explode in this game. So you'll notice that it actually gets procced more often than you think it does. And lastly, you get the crisis response. So the biggest takeaway from this is the Demolitionist is necessary to get that artillery turret, and that's the primary reason why we're running it. Everything else is just icing on top of that cake. Now, as far as the skills, there's a couple different variations that you can use. You know, you got your sticky, your explosive sticky that you could use. You got the bombardier drone. The stinger hive, actually, the initial blast is considered explosive. So anything that's explosive damage will benefit from this. Another thing to keep in mind is you guys could run with the shrapnel traps. They are explosive. They will benefit greatly from the explosive build. But what I'm going to go with is the cluster seekers, and that will allow us to target multiple enemies that are spread out. And then, of course, we're going to use the artillery turret and the mortars will do an area of effect. You should expect to see almost 4 million base damage from your artillery turret, and you should be quite a bit above 3 million as the base damage for your cluster seeker mines. Do notice that if you are using the memento backpack, we'll get more into that in a moment, the base numbers you see without your stacks will look significantly smaller, but believe me, once you ramp up your kills confirmed, that damage will go right through the roof. All right, agents, now we'll talk about the brand sets and the gearing. This is really what separates the group build from the solo build. So the group build, we're going to use 1 China Light, 3 Empress International, and 2 Grupo Sombra. This will net us the 30% bonus explosive damage from the China Light and the Grupo Sombra, and the Empress International will net us the 10% bonus skill damage, as well as that skill efficiency, which is an additional 10% skill damage and gives us other benefits as well. Really, I'm not going to go too much into detail on this version of the build right here, because right up there is the actual max damage version of this build. It's using the same gear, and if you really want to maximize your damage and do the most, get the highest numbers you can, check out that build. What we're going to do today is talk about what I consider the solo version of the build. And you can use this in a group, however, you won't get as many kills, assuming you're in a good team and they're getting kills. So it makes it harder to stack up your kills confirmed for the memento backpack. But running solo, this is one of my favorite builds at the current moment. So we're still going to utilize the China Light. This will give us the 15% explosive damage, and we are going to use the 3 pieces of Empress International. This will give us, again, skill health, skill damage, skill efficiency, but that leaves us with 2 additional slots. We are going to be using the memento, and as I frequently say, this is probably the best piece of exotic gear in the game, as it ubiquitously gives you benefits across the board. It gives you weapon damage, it gives you extra armor, it gives you a skill tier, and then as you collect these trophies, you get the short-term and long-term bonuses, which will stack up your weapon damage, it will give you bonus armor, it will give you armor regen, and it will ramp up the damage of any of your skills. So we still are looking at them. What do we do with that last piece? And this is really where you could have fun with it if you wanted to. You could, decide to slot in a Fenris, a Petrov, something for weapon damage if you want to go that route. But for myself, I want my skills to do the most damage, so I slot in a Wyvern piece. This will just add an additional 10% skill damage on top of it. So feel free in that last slot to use whatever brand set you find most appropriate for your own gameplay and style. I went with the Wyvern simply to get that extra damage out and because it's skill tier, but you can really play around with it and use what's best for you and what you really did. All right, as far as the talents that you could use on the chest and the backpack, there's a whole myriad of talents you can use. I'm just going to go with what I think is best, and that's to use glass cannon on the chest piece. That will give you the most amount of damage no matter what the situation is. Just be advised, you have to be a little careful with your own gameplay because you will take 50% bonus damage from any sources. The great thing is with the solo build and stacking up those kills confirmed, you'll end up getting a bunch of bonus armor and some armor regen, so that will mitigate a bit of that extra damage that you take from glass cannon. Now, there is a chest talent that I think for this build is even better than glass cannon. Now, we are going to lose a bit of damage by doing this, but follow me on this. If we use the Caesar's Guard Empress International name piece, this comes with perfectly skilled. This means every time we get a kill, we have a 30% chance to reset our skills. So running in a group, I use this. I don't spec almost anything into skill haste, and I trust solely on the perfectly skilled to reset my skills. Now, there's a bit of RNG in here, and every once in a while I'm left holding the bag, but it's not very often, and I do trust in my chess piece to keep resetting my skills over and over again. So I recommend running with the Empress International Caesar's Guard, But if you find that it's not working for you or you don't like it, just go with the glass cannon. Now, as far as the backpack, there's two viable options. The easy one is to use tech support. As soon as you get a kill for 20 seconds, you get that 25% bonus damage. The other option, if you don't want to rely on a kill, if you are, again, we're running in a group, so you could run with combined arms. This only has a 3-second duration, but shooting an enemy will give you that 25% bonus, and that means you can keep it up quite a bit more often without having to count on getting the actual kill. So I'll leave that up to you guys, what you like to use. I like tech support just because when I do get the kill, it gives me 20 seconds of that bonus damage to try to get the next kill, which refreshes the tech support again. Now, as far as the weapons go, as you agents know, I'm always going to tell you, use whatever your favorite weapon is. Use what works best for you. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. You want to enjoy playing the game, so use your favorite gun. For the purpose of this build, I'm going to be using the capacitor as my main weapon. This, of course, will give me the bonus weapon damage from us stacking all of those skill tiers, as well as that up to 60% bonus damage we get when we get to the cap 40 stacks. So we get the most bang out of the buck running this. Now, alternatively, if I don't have a chance to ramp up the damage, but I want to bump it up very quickly, what I will do is, on my offhand, I go with the mop. A couple reasons I do this. First of all, shotguns come with that 12%, up to 12% damage to armor, which will buff the damage of all of these explosives. Now, in addition, the mop comes with that plus 10% armor on kill. So this is quite a bit of survivability in the fact that it will give you your armor back over and over again. And lastly, the mop, you are able to roll your own talent onto it. So this is where I can put in sync. So simply shooting an enemy and then releasing my cluster mines or shooting one of the mortars out, we're instantly at a 30% bonus to our skill damage as well as our weapon damage. So while nowhere near the amount that we get, it's only half the amount of skill damage bonus that we get from the capacitor, but it's instantaneous. You just got to get a shot on the enemy, and bam, you got that bonus going. And do note the capacitor also has that 12% damage to armor on it also, so you're not losing out any damage to armor running the capacitor. Now, lastly, let's talk quickly about the sidearm. I don't use this very often, but you guys will see I use it in the range. I go for a sidearm that has future perfect, and what this allows me to do is if I see a weakened enemy and I have the presence of mind to do it, I can yank out my sidearm, take the enemy down, and proc an overcharge. And we do a little bit of testing in the range, and this you can see how it works. I don't really use this in normal gameplay just because it's usually things are a little hectic and I just don't think about it. But it's nice to know if you have the opportunity, you can squeeze out a little more damage this way. I prefer the backup boomstick just because it comes with that 70% shotgun damage. It has that up to 12% damage to armor, and it makes it really easy to 1 or 2 shot a weakened enemy. Another option that you have would be to use the card TDI. This will give you +1 skill tier. You could use this if you wanted to, as I had mentioned before, if you want to run a Fenris, Petrov, Overlord, something for your weapon. It means while you're firing your mortar or you're letting out your cluster seeker mines, you could switch over the card. This will keep you at skill tier 6 to maximize the damage. And then when you go ahead and swap over to your weapon, you'll be getting the bonus weapon damage from the brand set that way. So you can actually have kind of the best of both worlds if you want to go with the card TDI and run a weapon core brand set. So agents, that's pretty much all there is to it. The real part of this is just learning how to use the build effectively, making sure that you're not accidentally killing yourself with the mortar. Like I don't do it so much anymore, but there was definitely a learning curve. And when I first started using the artillery turret, I got to be honest, I was really frustrated trying to figure it out. But if you guys are having that same sort of issue, stick with it, play around with it for a bit. I promise you, once you get the hang of it, it is really a powerful skill. So what we'll do now is we're gonna skip away. We're gonna go into the range. You guys will see some basic gameplay mechanics of how to run this. I do that for both the seeker mines as well as the mortar. I'll show you the different weapons. Using the capacitor, using the mop, within sync. And you guys can see kind of the basic numbers we're supposed to get. And for any of you guys who have the patience to do it, after that we'll have some gameplay, me solo heroic using the solo build, and you can see how well it works. I really do enjoy it, and if you guys like the explosive builds, I really recommend you guys give this a shot. It's really a fun build. One other thing to note, if you guys really want to see some high damage numbers, get a teammate to run 4-piece Future Initiative with BTSU gloves and Overwatch. Have him take cover, have him toss the Artificer Hive out, let you get the buff from the Artificer Hive, let you get that Future Initiative bonus, let you get the Overwatch bonus, and then have him overcharge with the BTSU and watch what happens to your damage numbers. I'm going to be bringing that video pretty soon. Me and Super planning on trying to do a full support video together to show just how much of a bonus you can get from having one member in your fire team running a support build. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But of course, you know, I do run a lot of stuff solo, so I do like to bring you guys builds that work solo as well. Anyway, agents, thank you so much for watching. I'll touch base with you in a minute. fucking course. Of course. I should have known. It's playing like shit. I should have known.
Hostile engaged. Damn it! I lost him. Let's get a turret up. Yeah, that's right. Come on, come on! Time to set up a turret! Gotta clear the... Ah, fuck.
Look for the transmission control module. It handles all communications going in and out of viewpoint. If you reset it, you'll lock out the True Sons and we can take over the channels. Okay, stay by the module and make sure it completes the reset sequence.
Hitting the objective!
site facilities are reset to default or under direct SHD control.
That's good to hear. Our comms are coming online, and the True Sons are in the dark.
Electromagnetic charge detected.
Wade is using EMP jammers to overload the radio mast. Take them out before the mast is destroyed.
System curtailed. System back online. System functioning. Structural integrity at 75%.
Agent, you've got to stop Wade. You need that radio mast. You won't be able to use your shade tech as long as that EMP jammer is active. Take it out.
System disrupted. System back online. System functioning. System restored. System curtailed. Electromagnetic charge depleted. System back online.
You're going nowhere! Secret way! There it is! I'm gonna need a new dress.
Oh, you agents are still here. Thank you so much for hanging in there till the end. As you guys can see, this is an extremely powerful build, and it's really fun to see those big explosions and those big numbers. So I really enjoy this, and you know, like I said, this is the thing that made me want to start making these videos. So I owe homage to the explosive build for making this possible. Thank you so much for hanging in there, agents. Do me a favor, smash that like button. If I haven't earned your subscription by now, well, hopefully today's the day. The best thing you can do to help the channel is just share the video. You agents, take it easy. Be as safe as you need to be out there, and I'll catch you in the dark zone. Now this is a problem, dude. Okay, let's try that again. Ubisoft, massive. You think you might want to check that out? You don't think that's a massively up problem? No? You think it's supposed to work like that? You dumb. Fix your